Titled AITAH for cancelling my brother's wedding venue reservation after he uninvited me. So, I, 37 male, have a younger brother, Tom, 26 male, who's getting married in 3 months. A year ago, when he and his fiancée were planning their wedding, they were struggling to find an affordable venue. I own a vacation property with a large yard that's been used for a couple of small weddings before, so I offered it to him as a wedding venue, rent-free. My only condition was that I wanted to be part of the wedding party, which he agreed to. Everything seemed fine. Last week, Tom and I got into a small argument. It really wasn't a big deal, but a couple of days later, he texted me and said he and his fiancée decided to downsize their wedding party and I was no longer going to be a groomsman. I was shocked because I thought this was set in stone a year ago. I called him to ask what was going on, and he said it wasn't personal, just that they wanted to keep things small and intimate and didn't feel like they needed me in the wedding party. I was pretty hurt, but I didn't say anything at the time. Then it occurred to me, if I'm not important enough to be in his wedding party, why should I host the wedding at my place? So I called him again and told him that since I wasn't going to be part of the wedding, they'd need to find another venue. Now, Tom and his fiancée are furious. They say they can't afford another venue at this point and that I'm ruining their big day. My parents are also upset and say I should just let it go and still host the wedding. I feel like I was doing them a huge favor, and they essentially uninvited me from being part of the most important day of their lives. I don't think I'm wrong to retract my offer, but now everyone's making me feel guilty. So, AITAH for cancelling the venue? Edit, this blew up way more than I thought it would. Checked my messages after work today and holy crap. To answer a few questions I'm seeing repeatedly. 1. Why did I need to offer to loan out my vacation house to be in the wedding? Repeating one of my comments, my brother and I have had a little bit of a rocky relationship most of his life. Our age difference has always been an awkward amount and I think he's jealous of my success in life too. He's done okay, but I've climbed the corporate ladder pretty quickly in finance and I think a lot of girls he's dated have had crushes on me, being his older brother and the more successful one, and that bothers him. He picks small things to get mad at me about because of his jealousy, and I felt like if I made it a condition of lending out my place he would let me be in his wedding. 2. What did you get into an argument about? He got upset at me because he thinks I don't do enough with our parents, but I travel for my job, so it's harder for me to be there in person. I also help them out financially, which he never considers as helping out. They haven't saved as much as they probably should and are getting closer to retirement, so I help them out with some bills so they can put more in their 401k accounts instead, but I guess that isn't enough. He always finds something to say I'm doing wrong. 3. Are you still invited to the wedding? Technically he only said I'm not in the wedding party, but it feels like such a slap in the face at this point, and it definitely feels like he doesn't want me there. I'll try to talk to him again to see what the real issue is because downsizing seems like BS to me. Now in the comments one user says I am curious. Why didn't your brother ask you to be in the wedding to begin with? You say you made it a condition for him to use your property and he agreed. Why would it be a condition? If he didn't ask you even before the property was offered, why? Do you two not really get along or not that close? What was this argument about? Now you say it wasn't a big deal, but maybe you don't think so, but he does. What happened? For him to make up that excuse, which you know that is the deal, tells me he didn't want you in the wedding party to begin with. In that regard I don't blame you. I think you need to elaborate regarding your relationship with your brother. Yeah. That OP had to demand to be part of the wedding party shows me they aren't close. But it also means bro is stupid. If they aren't close, why would I be obligated to do him a huge favor? Another user says petty, just like you should be. It was an agreement between the two of you, a venue rent-free, but you are part of the wedding party. Your brother decided to punish you the wrong way. As long as he took back his part of your contract, you are no longer forced to honor your part. But it's too late for them to find something. You should tell them that as long as your brother can't honor his part of your deal, you're okay for them to do the venue at the same place, but for X amount. Payable right now because, well, the confidence is broken. Maybe it'll force your brother to tell you the real reason why he doesn't want you anymore in his wedding. Another one of the user says I think it's weird AF you tried to bargain yourself into the wedding. but they didn't have to agree. This dude gives weird vibes, doesn't get along with his brother but offered his property to force himself into the wedding party. Then his explanation of why they don't get along is I'm so rich, handsome and successful, his jealous, giving narcissist vibes. Notice how he immediately said they couldn't use the venue when they said you're not a groomsman, despite still being invited. And the dude still has no idea why his brother doesn't like him. Now on to the update. I was having a hard time believing my brother when he told me they were downsizing the wedding party just to make it more intimate, but that's all he kept saying when I would ask for the real reason. In all honesty, my brother and I aren't that close, which I'm sure is obvious from my last post. After my emotions settled down a bit, I told my brother I wanted to talk to him. He wasn't responding to me, so I said I wanted to talk to him about potentially letting them still use my vacation house. Not totally the truth, but it seemed like a good way to get him to talk. He finally responded, but said I couldn't come over, he would only meet me somewhere public, which seemed weird. We ended up meeting at a bar late last night that I like near my place, and I straight up just asked him why he was really kicking me out of his wedding, and I would only consider letting them use my vacation house if he told me the truth. He was getting pretty fidgety and looking away from me, and finally told me the truth. Apparently his fiancée heard that I may do a bit of cocaine here and there for fun, and she told him that she didn't want a crackhead in her wedding. He said he actually kind of agreed with her and was disappointed in what I was doing. I told him if I'm too much of a crackhead to be there, then they really shouldn't want to use a crackhead's house for their wedding, and I left. I don't really see how it impacts them what I do in my free time, but I really don't care to be there now if that's what they think of me. I haven't said a word to him since then, but I'm guessing I won't be hearing from him again soon. Edit. To answer some consistent questions, he comments, 1. Oh, you must be a drug addict. I do coke maybe a handful of times a year recreationally with some people that I party with. Obviously this gossip traveled through the grapevine where circles overlapped and got to them somehow. I wasn't discovered because I'm an addict. Like some have said, it's more common than you think. You'd be surprised who does it. 2. You must have a drug problem for them to react that way about it. My brother's fiancée comes from a very religious and conservative family. They think anyone that does a hard drug must be a degenerate and is going to hell. That's the funny part about her calling me a crackhead. Crack is whack. She clearly doesn't understand coke is different, but I'm not going to go on a mission to educate her. It would be wasted effort on my part. You can be successful in life and recreationally use drugs. The two aren't mutually exclusive. Honestly, pretty much anyone I know that does coke has plenty of money and a great job, or they married someone rich, inherited money. Final comments. Well, after scrolling through a decent amount of comments, I've come to the conclusion that I'm obviously a terrible douchebag with an enormous drug problem that only thinks about myself and is extremely conceited. Some parts of that may be true, but I do care about my family and try to help my parents in the way that I know how. For those of you that are familiar with Fight Club, I am a single-serving friend kind of person. I don't really get close with many people and I have a hard time staying in one place. That's why I have a job where I need to travel all the time. I like the variety and the challenge of it, settling down, having kids, all that makes me super uncomfortable. Obviously I'd be a terrible father, so there's no way I'll have kids, snip snip. My brother is a settled down kind of guy, and thinking about it, that's probably why he doesn't like me. I wanted to be a groomsman for him because I wanted to be a part of something in his life, but in a capacity I can handle. One last note, I've got awesome parents that love me for who I am, and they know I love them even if I'm not around a ton. They worked super hard to raise us and give us everything we needed when they came from a poorer background. I help them how I know I can. Not everyone shows they care in the same way you do, so chill and don't think I'm an ass because my way of caring is mostly financial. Peace out, friends. In the comments, one user says you are a crackhead, therefore we don't want you around our wedding. However, we still would very much like to use your crack house as our wedding venue. Another user says we like the favors we can extricate from you, but we prefer not to be seen with you. Classy. For real. During Op's first post I was on the fence, but this swayed my ambivalence. Why is it folk hitting the milestones always end up being prejudiced entitled folk? Sorry your brother and his fiancée objectified you, I hope they don't reprise on you in the future for having some self-respect. NTA. What's ironic is that the brother has the nerve to ask to use AITAH's house for his wedding, even after calling him a crackhead. On top of that, he's too cowardly to admit the real reason for disinviting OP in the first place. The entitlement here is unbelievable. What AITAH's brother is doing is pretty much the opposite of how you should handle someone who might be struggling. Instead of isolating or making them feel worse, you're supposed to support and show them love. If not, they'll likely just keep turning to whatever they're using to cope. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, leave a yellow heart in the comment section. You can check out more videos like this onto my channel. Until next time. Bye.